This is where we left off in the last episode. And in this episode, we're going to continue by creating a friend for him. And it's going to be that big guy right over here. Now, before we start, I need to set up my canvas. And the first thing I'd like to do is take the drawings here, the sketch, and I'm going to fold up the color, and I'm going to put it down into my storyboard folder. And of course it disappears, but that's fine for now. And I just want to pull it up. So I'm going to go into the color, turn off our sun rays, our plant one. I'm going to go ahead and hide it, the block, and I'm going to turn off the background. And so now I can see through there and see the storyboard. I need to now create a folder, and we'll call it P2 for plant 2, and we're going to add a layer here. Now okay, now we're ready to start drawing. So I'm going to pick my black ink, and I am going to use my favorite brush right here. It's all set up other than I need it just a little bit bigger. That should do it. And now I'm just going to draw in. Now, this isn't going to be like a tree. It's an underwater plant, and so it's not as quite like the other one. This one will be a little bit more rigid, but not like a tree. And so we want, kind of still some smooth curves to it. And see, now I can draw right on top of the sketch. But anyways, the dull ends is probably better. So I'm not trying to get sharp ends or anything. And I'm just trying to, just thicken it as it comes down, not, and because that's what we would expect. And when we going to have some overlapping, and so we'll want to show depth by moving one in front of the other. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to zoom back just a little bit. And let's hide our storyboard. Yeah. Okay, so now, but what I want to do is add just a few more, because the pencil was just a simplified version of what I really want. It's got to have some additional stuff. There we go. I don't like that. I don't. Well, I'm going to keep it. And see, that's all right. See, a little blob at the top. And this is it's an underwater plant. And there's even, land plants that'll do that have, kind of little things like that. I'm not trying to create you know, though, a tree that looks like from the Haunted Mansion or something, you know. In fact, what we're going to do is put some colorful ends on them when we, some colorful flowers. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. Now that I have that, I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to create another layer. And then I'm going to control click on the layer I just turned off. So now I have a selection. Click on my bucket, the fill bucket, and we're going to pick a kind of a light color. I don't want quite white, just maybe a little yellowish white. And just enough. We can adjust it if it doesn't work out. And there we go. Now this is going to be our glow, our edges. Okay, and while I still have this highlighted, I'm going to add another layer. And I'm going to go and grab my blending brush. And now I'm going to pick a kind of a blue, but not quite like that. Okay. And I just want to, I might have to go in closer. I just want to kind of do this to it, because this is going to be away from where the sun rays are coming from, and I don't need to do very much. We're going to do something in addition to this later on too, that'll give some texture and stuff to it. I just want to kind of just, now don't worry that it's uneven and some of it is thicker than others, because when you see what I'm going to do next, a lot of this is going to be hidden. It might be better that I come in further than I am. Because of that, I don't want to, you know, extra white line there. Okay. Now I'm going to add another layer, and we're going to shrink our selection here by 3. So I already have 3 there. I want to make sure I have soft. And boom. There we go. Now I'm going to pick a warm color. And I just have to figure out how. I definitely want color in it. I'm not too saturated though, because I don't want it to compete with the flowers. Okay, I'm going to fill that in. Okay, and let's shrink it again. 3. We're going to go just a little bit darker. Still, and I'm saturating it even more. Make sure that I didn't. Yes, I did. That's good. Okay, now what I did was I added it to the same layer, so, and I want to make sure that they're in separate layers. Now I'll add another layer, then I'll shrink it, and we're going to go even darker, but even more saturated. Fill that in. Okay. Now, it already looks like, it's kind of chiseled. We don't want a chiseled look, but you can see what I'm going for. Now, I'm going to come down here to our base. In fact, I'm going to name it base because it is our silhouette. And I'm going to click on that again with my control key down so that I have our selection on. And I'm going to go and turn these off. Okay, keep that one on. That's where we're going to start. I'm going to come up to Filter, Blur, to Gaussian Blur. Don't have to do much, but I may want to do more than that, but I don't want to obliterate our highlights. Okay, I think that's good. Now we'll go to the next one. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to blur just there. That looks about right. And once again, this guy. And give him a little bit, but not too much. Okay. All right. Now, let's test this out. Yeah, I think that's going to work. And of course, we're going to have block 3 and block 2. And it still looks pretty good. Of course, these colors are going to change, and it's going to get darker back here, which means that this is going to stand out even more. The only thing I want to do is I want to get rid of a lot of the highlight that is in the back, because now it just looks like, we're trying to hide it, So I'm going to add another layer here. Go down to our base and control click on it, keeping this selection up here. Keeping this layer active, but having a selection around this guy. And I'm going to select my paint and apply, and I want, just like what we were doing before with the blue, but I'm going to want a darker, probably more muted blue. Okay, I got my paint and apply. Okay, now I'm going to try something before since it's on another separate layer, I don't have to worry too much. I'm not destroying anything. But there we go. Some of them I'll want to keep, just because, there is going to be some, backlighting, bounce lighting. But I'm going to do something with this. I don't know yet if I want to keep it dark. I'm going to try some experimenting here. So anyways, part of this tutorial is doing what I know will work and experimenting with some stuff I'm not sure will work. Because that's all part of creating. Okay. Now, the reason I'm making sure I got good coverage here before I go and test out anything is because no matter what, I'm probably going to keep it, and I may do some other tweaking with like with the colors and stuff like that. And so that's why I'm being so meticulous. Okay, now I'm going to turn off the selection. And see, some of this I kind of like, and I will even want to turn back on the selection, and I'm going to kind of soften some of them because I kind of like that, just a little bit of bounce lighting. Bounce light. Here we go. Now I'll turn it off, and yeah. It just kind of, now it doesn't look like it's a, just a double outline. Okay. Now, anything else I want to do before we go on? I'm thinking that, yeah. Wondering what would happen if I didn't lighten this up just a bit. I can still give it more. I guess I can't, but I can change it. Like I said, these flowers are going to be red, so I don't want it to compete with that. I do want it to complement it. But when you're looking at this, I want your attention to go to those flowers. I think that might be it. And we can also, I don't know if that will do much to adjust that guy. Let's see. Yeah, because he's too much now like the other one. Let's see what we can do. Kind of like, see, you can't get away with doing stuff like, and now we're just playing. But the whole idea is I can make it, add variety of colors with it by doing this. Yeah, I'm just going to lighten. No, do I? Yeah, I definitely don't want to go darker than what the upper one is, upper layer is. Got to go lighter. So I may darken this one back again just a little bit. And let's see, in this one, I may just take back some of the okay, let's leave it there for now, and let's put in the flowers so that then we can see if we might want to make more adjustments here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call this branches, and I'm going to take everything and pull it into branches. Okay. And then I'm going to create another folder, and we're going to call this flowers. I'm sure there's a more scientific name for, underwater plants that have what look like flowers. Maybe they're not, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I want a vivid red to start off with. I might just darken it just a little bit, but not too much, because I'm going to do some other things with it. Okay, now there are going to be 4 large ones. So one right here, one right here, one here. Or should I put it here? If I got it here, here. I think here's where I had it planned. And then one right here. The rest of them will have smaller ones. So I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to do the big ones first anyways. And I'm going to start off by taking my blend brush and I'm just going to kind of put a soft red in there, just like that. Okay. All right, back out and said it was going to be this one. I'm going to do the same thing. It's kind of it's going to be like the heart of the large one. And then finally, right there. Okay, come back down to this one. I'm going to add another layer. This time I'm going to use my favorite brush. I'm going to come in and we are going to start drawing in some, and that I need much smaller brush to be doing this. Okay. Okay, I am going to just make it easier on my arm here. Okay, give it a little bit of a connection here, like that. Okay, come up with to this one, and I don't need it to be about, make sure I am big enough. Yeah, I think they'll do. Okay. Let's do this. While we have, I'm gonna put it on to this folder. Grab my lasso, and I'm going to lasso this, just this one. And now by putting it on the folder, I'm grabbing both those layers, and I'm going to hit Control T, and I'm just going to just play with these two corners, but we'll try to keep it as much. And I want to keep it to scale, so okay, now let's back out and see if that isn't better. Yeah. Okay, so now let's do the same thing to this one. There. Okay, now I have a better idea of how big it should be. Let's go ahead and activate that layer again so I can finish this guy up and just give him kind of something to connect to. And now we'll do this one. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to come back down to that first one. And now that I have a feel for these, I'm just going to kind of bring that thing up a little bit. And what it is just try to feel like that there's something in here. And there would be, you know. But it's something softer. I'm just softening it back down because it was just way too bright. And then put some of it back. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm come up, create another layer here. And I'm going to select just the lines, not the puffy things in the middle. And I'm going to select black. And I'm going to keep my blending brush, just shrink it down a little bit, and I'm going to put kind of a shadow under here. Under that one. Under this one. And this one. I'm going to add one more layer, and we're going to add some a kind of a reflection onto those flowers. But again, we're trying to give some depth to it, make it feel like it's, you know, there's more to it. Okay. All right, let's turn that off, and there you go. Okay, now we're going to create a layer between these two. So basically, I'm going to draw something under this stuff, and I'm going to make it not a full white and not an orange either, kind of like that. And I'm just going to, using my favorite pen, I'm just going to draw some white lines inside here. Like that. Okay, and then do the same up here to each one of these. Just enough to give a feel of, you know, I don't know, I'm sure there's going to be something else inside there. Okay, there we are. Now let's put some stuff on those others. So I'm going to come back down to this not that layer. Yeah, this layer. maybe we'll do it in its own layer. So I'm going to add a layer. And then I need that red again. So I'm going to come all the way down here and somewhere in here. And still using my favorite pen. Let's start with this guy here. He doesn't need to be very big. In fact, he may be just kind of like, maybe something like that. And this guy's got something. And these guys just... that. Okay, see if I'm, yep. I did some. All right. Now, I think that's it. So we have our flowers. We now can see what it looks like here. And of course, we're going to have more friends down here to go along with that. And then we'll have our rocks, and we're going to have a lot of texture right around here. This is going to go darker, and so this is going to really pop out. We're going to see the red inside this dark background that kind of gradients into some detail, but even the detail here will be kind of diffused, but the detail down here will be much clearer. Okay, I think that does it for this episode.